what his opinion is of that horrible volcano of spit that came out this week when he was screaming. Is that natural, or is it part like that it came out by accident and then he pushed more out? Because it was a fucking tidal wave.
He was trying to hold it back. You could tell. He could feel it in his mouth, and he was like trying to get it back, and then it came out.
Right.
In the weirdest time, too, not while he was talking.
Right.
Not while air was being pushed out. Like, he got done talking, and then it dripped out. He's 6. And then he tried to, like, lean into it, like, oh, yeah, see, look, I'm doing this on purpose.
Yeah, that was my theory.
I think what happened was Gary put a gypsy curse on him while he was working the Stern show.
Yes.
Like, he, grazed his face and went, wetter. And just whatever jokes he makes about Gary being weird with his mouth and having mouth problems, he's got like 10 times
He's missing teeth on the bottom and stuff. And there's been a lot of speculation about dentures because he's lip smacking and he's constantly doing weird stuff with his mouth. But the craziest thing to me about that cum dripping out of his mouth is the fact that he didn't even look to see where it went.
Right.
Nope. Clay Dabbler's like, did that just land on the floor? He goes, that's on my pants.
Huge.
I don't believe that because he was right in front of him. For it to land on his pants, unless it went on his crotch, but he was leaning over when it happened.
He didn't even look.
Yeah, but he would have to have his legs together like a proper lady.
I was just gonna say, it'd be like driving.
Could you imagine buying a used car from Stuttering John or a computer, anything of his? Like if you advertise it on Marketplace? What a disaster. Oh my God. Furniture? Oh man. Whoa. Bring the black light before you buy anything from this guy.
The car with somebody, they hit someone at full speed and just turn the wipers on and never mention it. You know what I mean?
Think about this. He had his alcoholic friends come over to get drunk during Hurricane Milton. And the first thing these people did was mop the floor. This guy, he's just drooling and spilling shit everywhere and never cleans it up.
You're inviting people that can't clean up their own lives, and they unite in cleaning your house. Insanity. Remember, don't argue with stupid people. They bring you down to their level and beat you with experience.
It's a great point. I got
fucking sent them on
fantasies. That Kate Meany stuff, that hurt him bad because he made up this scenario in his head where they were going to get married.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, he was going to teach her about movies. It was beautiful.
Well, remember, they were all going to ride on the bike together, her friend, and him.
I do want to watch John watch Jaws with Kate Meany.
I was saying, if we could put a director's cut where it's just him talking over the whole movie, I would buy that in a second. In
this scene, they wanted a bigger boat. Hold on, they're going to say that.
Now listen, Kate, that's...
So I'm visiting some guys here at the Puzzle Factory. And I thought it'd be apropos with John to go somewhere with his crazy people yelling and screaming and carrying on. And that's what we got here. So enjoy.
Not a real shock. That's animatronic thing. So, yeah, the Dabbling Dan had a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff we kind of knew. Some of the stuff was pretty revealing. Again, like you said, whether it's bullshit that he's feeding him, it's really stupid bullshit that he fed him. That makes him look terrible. So,
he's not allowed on his wife's street.
Yeah,
It's not BS. It's true. That's why John is so terrified and trying to... He's contagious. I can't think. He's trying to navigate around it, circumvent, and he's trying to figure out a way to make up a story to cover, like his underwear guide, because he never washes his hands. That's why he made that one up.
Aaron doesn't let him park in front of the house that his kids live in.
I have that down here as one of the topics, too, that, you know, he's not allowed on a street in Los Angeles. That should be on your Wikipedia. That should be in your credits. You know what I mean? That's something. And
impressive.
Not surprising, either. topic. So go ahead there, Frog, if you want to.
The other bunch of the other guys who just losers, I don't have any time for. I'm way too old to be dealing with this nonsense. Let's see if I can get it here.
Howard made a comment years ago that John was sitting in a chair with his giant belly giving orders to Susanna. And he's still doing it now with that belly. Oh, I forget he's going to the gym every day. Yeah. Who is Jim? I don't know this guy.
In case you missed.
Come on, you motherfucker. Let's see.
You notice he's cursing way more? His dementia's catching up. He's heading to the loony bin next. He's going to be with Lady Di soon, sharing a room.
Come on.
Come on.
It's been a busy week for John. A lot
Why
going
didn't
on.
you fucking let me do this? Cancel this motherfucker.
Cancel that motherfucker.
He's done a show every day. It's been jam-packed.
No.
It's the first time using
We're
StreamYard, right?
There's so much to talk about.
We
he
watched
said.
the first episode of
Where
You
do
and
we
Him
begin?
today, Carl.
Oh,
we were,
yeah.
We were reminded of the laptop.
Me, 5.
Oh,
Not 8.
oh, that throat.
John, your friend's calling you. It's not frozen either.
30 years in radio.
Yep.
40.
The fuck?
We just get caught up by email, guys. I'll be back with you in a minute.
Let's see.
So I say, remember, before the green screen, half of his head would be in the shot. He'd always have to tilt his laptop to get
Right.
his whole head in.
Yes.
We were back in that phase of the Dabbleverse today.
Simpler times.
Yeah. You got to come on with us to do part 2.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
so much
definitely.
good stuff.
I forgot about it.
In case you missed
The
stuttering.
Duke's got a date.
Oh, here we go.
That's right. Duke's taking the girl out on the boat. This girl is from the West Indies. Beautiful. She looks just like Zoe Saldana. And as we all know, Zoe Saldana is my top hottest girl right now.
She's also blind.
You listening to this? I'm listening to two maniacs. One drunk and one dementia. Or I don't know which one's which. But I left them in for ambiance. You can all enjoy my visit at the Puzzle Factory.
Yeah. So yeah, just a little taste of John's show this week. I mean, I guess we could start with the girls. It's amazing that he seems to be dating,
International.
nations, not women. These women are. He's never a white girl. It's always somebody from some foreign land that has.
How many mail order brides are white, really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say, is he part of one of those things where these women are trying to get to the United States and he's just like texting with them back and forth or some kind of app?
So far,
Well, no,
we have.
Because that requires like 20 grand to
Sure.
get those girls over here. You need to put out some money to get those chicks over here.
So far, we've had Vietnamese chick, 2 of them. We've had Costa Rica and now West Indies.
Mm-hmm.
So, the man.
Wasn't that one in his fake trip to Jamaica? Yeah, I'm on.
It's getting around. Can't deny that. He lost somebody again, a loyal member of the army. Looks like he turned on him. The one and only.
Sounds like he turned on me.
Yep, Dabbling Dan. That was big news. Dabbling Dan calling in to Tukey Soup.
Yeah, I have a lot to talk about with Dabbling Dan. I have a lot of topics I want to bring up.
Well, go ahead. Start us off. What do you want to talk about?
Okay. What's crazy to me is this integrity verification that John does, where he tells people these stories like he was being investigated by the police.
That whole thing is bullshit.
For an incident at the school where he laid his hands on a child. Why would that be the lie that you make up to put out there to see if someone's going to be telling these tales on the internet?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a pathological liar like John, but I imagine there are levels to it. It's like a staircase. You don't have to start at the top step with a lie that really, if people believe, will look at you and treat you differently. That it puts you in a horrible position.
Well, so Vinny Paulino gave me a perfect example because he was integrity verification by John. And the way that John did it is actually the right way to do it, where he said, yeah, my son was accepted at MIT. So his son was accepted at Harvard, so it makes sense. It's similar, but...
That might have been John just getting mixed up, like usual. You know? This integrity verification is bull. It's just something he uses to cover his bullshit. He's busted and he knows it. I'm telling you, it goes back to underwear to guide. Howard and everybody said he doesn't wash his hands in the bathroom. So he made that story up to justify not washing his hands. Everything else he does are stories he makes up to justify what he's done.
It's different enough that if it got out there, he knows Vinny's the one who said it. That's how you do that. You don't go around and say, I bought my daughter a car so that she'd continue to talk to me, and then we had a falling out, so I stopped making payments, and I don't have communication with any of my kids. That's not how you do it. That's crazy.
And there were a lot of similarities when this news broke, when the tapes started, when the stuff started circulating about the Kate Meany tapes. And at first he said the same thing. It's all bullshit. It's AI. And then, it went from that to, I'm going to the FBI. I'm going to have a friend call the comedy club and pretend to be a lawyer. I'm going to throw everything I got at this shit. And from what I've heard from my sources, that's where he's at today. He is freaking out over this Dabbling Dan thing. Not happy about it because the rumor on the street is that John may or may not have shared a photo of someone not clothed and sent it to one Dabbling Dan. That is the rumor.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm pissed. I want that picture back.
Well,
Right?
what I was
You
going to
have
say
take
is,
pictures of your friend.
so let's say that's true. Then you went on and regurgitated the same shit he said to you in an email about my kids, which makes you the same piece of shit as this guy. Or you're sending him this with these comments. And, I would assume from the way he feels about me, he's probably not a huge fan of my family. So I would assume he has no problem with that.
Right.
And it's like, at the end of the day,
You guys hear this guy yelling? He's nuts. And I'm going to leave here soon. But if John lives a few more years, that'll be him. He's already doing it when he screams and yells at his computer. So he's on the way. That's why I left it in. To share the psychotic nuts. That's John Melendez.
it's confirmed. This guy's sitting here staring at pictures of my kids. Like, that's fucking creepy.
Hey, listen, I didn't rob the bank. I just drove the getaway car. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't pin this on me. It's always somebody else put their hand in the cookie jar. All the way back from when Grillo stole money out of Robin's purse. It wasn't him that took the money. It was Grillo. He made him do it. He always has a convenient hatchet man that takes the blame.
Most criminals can't wait to turn to save their own ass. You understand? So John is just a typical criminal. All these people that are helping him, if the spotlight, if he's in the crosshairs.
It's true. It's true, but he's been lucky he never got caught.
For a second, you're all getting thrown under.
Sam.
The fucking bus.
Right.
All of you.
Speaking of criminality, that was another thing that came out, that John was chugging beers the whole drive from L.A. to New York.
What?
I know. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Shocking.
But good news, the cats had their seatbelts on, so at least they were safe.
No, surely, actually, they did. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I remember. I remember him almost dying on the highway because one of them got under the gas and brake pedal. So what do you know? But a lot of stuff revealed from Dan that was very interesting. Another glimpse into Stuttering John.
Well, also and we always know this.
It's good stuff, and it makes sense. If you listen to the logic, it all comes together.
But being John's friend is next to impossible. I got to talk about Clay Dabbler in a little bit. We'll save that. But being John's friend is hard, and everyone explains this to him, and he'll never get it. But that's the other thing Dabbling Dan was saying, is just like Leo Gunn and all of these guys can't stand him anymore. He's so fucking needy.
Yeah. Well, Clay literally said it on air to John. Said it's very hard to be your.
Last show that they did was literally like a couple in couples counseling. It was so fucking funny to watch. Because now you get to see. Now you get to see, dude. That was the best. Where you put up one of his Reddit posts under his sock account. We were watching an old episode today on Blunder Years of Carl and John's first episode together, and you bring up the sock accounts, which is great, and then you pull up his Reddit post as a sock account. And it said, "Is Carl gay?" Question mark, and then it says. I think it said, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it looks like he sucked a cock or two. That was in the subject. It was great. But yeah, anyhow, you were saying about Clay, because I wanted to just bring up, if he sent, one of the bonuses of being John's friend / slave on call 24/7 is every now and then you'll get a nudie pic sent to you of somebody, So right. I'm assuming Clay's on the list to get a picture if he's sending it out to Dabbling Dan.
Well, that's interesting because Clay has never given John his phone number. Clay is smarter than that. Now, they definitely communicate. I'm sure there's email or some other way that they do it, or WhatsApp.
Yes, somehow they have to.
But the only reason I bring it up is because the other day when they were together, out of the blue, Clay's like, "Well, if you sent a picture to your mate, that's not revenge, Paul."
When Mike went me, while Carl was drinking, I don't know if you guys know. That was one of John's big things, making fun of Carl, how he would drink a beer or out of a glass, and with his pinky out, he made it sound like he was gay. Every time he took a sip, he'd go, me. It's stupid.
That's not putting it out online. And it's like, well, where'd that come from all of a sudden?
Yeah, when John has something like that, it's like when we make a Christmas card list. I got to get everybody on there. Don't want to forget anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll see a return of one Kate Meany from all this drama. Who knows? But
well, listen, I think somebody needs a criminal record. They've been shouting, from the fucking hills that I'm the only one. I've never been arrested. I've never had a criminal record. But it seems like this week has changed a lot of stuff for John.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there's a rumor that he actually started his job today. Which is why his show started a little later, and I don't know. He looked pretty tired when I watched the beginning of the show. I hear it's an early morning start time.
Oh, that's always a good job when you got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, for him? Well, I mean, he passes out shit-faced every night at 8 or 9, so... I mean, it's actually not... Oh, look at you, Mike. Nice background.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can tell you guys.
Yeah.
My house in Cape Coral... when I'm not there in the summertime, we want to keep it at like 78. You got to keep the refrigerator on, shit like that. It's $200 a month. That's what the power bill is. And so the fact that John's paying $350 and that's going to take care of months and months of not paying, he owes a lot of money to LCEC.
Right. So that's what I was going to ask you. In your opinion, how far behind is he? Ballpark. If he's dropping almost $400 on a minimum payment due.
I can't figure out, did he have his mail changed from going to his mom's house, or maybe his mom had it changed to go into his house? Because according to him, he hasn't opened up a single letter since he's been there in July.
Wow. So he didn't change anything. He wouldn't you have to go to the post office or something so they can start forwarding your mail from LA to your new place?
Well,
you
call
so.
You call the electric company and you say, here's my address.
Right.
Yeah, but he wasn't paying. How long was that house sitting dormant while he was in L.A.? But he still had to have, like you said, the fridge on and the basic.
So, and then back to Carl's point, if the mail is coming to L.A., then he was getting the electric bill while he was in L.A., not living there.
Right.
So there's
he was surprised it was a bill, though.
He also confessed that he didn't pay electric in L.A.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you catch that? Where he goes, in L.A., they don't shut your power off when you don't pay the bill. That's something I wouldn't know.
Right. Right. He's got experience in that in like multiple states.
That was something that Dabbie Dan was saying, too, that he kind of like snuck out of there and got the fuck away. He's got that credit score of 440. I bet it's worse than that. This guy's not paying any bills. He's got all this debt, all these creditors coming after him.
And what did he say? He wanted the one thing he wanted to return was the Cablevision cable boxes because it was under his mom's name.
He knows where his bread is buttered, so he doesn't want to get his mom in trouble.
Well, that's the thing. If that's under his mom's name, if that stupid cable box is under his mom's name, everything is under his mom's name. There's no way he's paying any bills. His mom has to control the money. He's probably just so brain dead he doesn't know how to do it. So again, I think this goes back to where we found out Susanna was taking care of business for a while. Even when he was divorced with her, she was still taking care of some business for him. It's
I bet he put stuff in his mother's name without her even knowing it.
It's pretty much what everything's pointing to. He's always had that. He's never had to do it by himself. Either his mom's doing it or his ex-wife was doing it or somebody was doing it for him.
Well, maybe while he wasn't there, mom was paying it. But then once he moved there, she said, all right, you got to take care of it.
At some point, she's got to cut him off. I mean, it's just like there's going to be nothing left for anybody if she doesn't.
That's the idea.
Or his mom was like, John, you keep getting bills from the Barra company. And he's like, well, I'll get to it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry, Ma.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Howard called him a baby, said he couldn't do anything. He couldn't believe he would leave his apartment without his wallet, take a cab, and then ask the interns to pay for it. He would borrow money from the garage attendant in the building. And Howard even said, you're a baby. How can you leave? How can you not do anything? It's unbelievable. This was 35, 40 years ago.
He didn't know there were bills, and then he had to pay. He just didn't look into it. He's too busy drinking. He's too fucking lazy, and he doesn't care. And like everything, he's just going to pick up a phone and ask for help at some point because he's not going to know what to do.
Here's all you need to know about Stuttering John, and it sounds like I'm insulting the man. I swear I'm not. The guy stopped maturing at the age of 6. That's why he's a narcissist. That's why he can't figure out anything for himself. He has to call other adults to find out how to turn on his sprinkler system and shit. It's insane.
Well,
my grass is yellow. What do you think's going on? You're probably not watering it. I don't know. He's like, it took him weeks to figure out the grass.
Worse than that, he called Joey C. to ask him if vegetables spoil. He was eating brown vegetables that he got from a leftover at an event. Remember?
This was dying.
I want to move from power to water, but let me get to some of these super chats here. Meredith Halfpenny gifted a membership. Thank you, Meredith. Good to see you. Silent Mike.
Pretty good again.
Yeah,
well, listen, if you want to trade, we got Aaron Rodgers.
That's rough, man. That is rough.
Easy, Tiger. Give John a 2-time credit score, and we all have to beat him. Sin Lu Hu, remember, John has a weird aversion to the post office. He's complained about it many times in the past.
That is true. He hates the post office. He had to get someone else to send that crappy iPad that couldn't be updated to the cancer patient.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, that was a really interesting thing to see today too in the Blunder episode, is that he wanted you to give him credit for offering to do nice things for you. Even though you would never ask him, even though you don't need him to find you a plumber,
Right.
you don't need him to feed your cats.
That was hysterical. He doesn't have cats. He said, John, I don't have any cats. Doesn't matter. I made the offer.
Like, and you go, I don't need, and he's like, oh, so I'm such a bad guy because it's like, no, you're fucking weird. It's weird to offer that to a guy who you tried to shut down his business.
Right. Offering a favor is the same as doing a favor for someone in John's mind. It's crazy.
Right. What was his quote? He goes, your wife doesn't want to have just a friendly neighbor in the area? I think was his quote to you.
She doesn't.
No, certainly not him. He reneged on the pay plan. That's why he shut it off twice. Oh.
Do you think he keeps saying his IQ is 160? Maybe that is his credit score? That's where he's getting it from?
Maybe.
He's like, oh, I meant credit score. It's like pencils.
Oh, can we talk about this thing he posted? Do you have that NYU email that he showed on his show the other day, Frog? I think it's in Discord on Reddit. Pretty interesting. You know, out of the blue again. This is how you know somebody's whipped something up for him. If it's not in the storyline of what's going on, he's got some kind of scam going with whatever the topic is he brings up out of the blue. So the other day he goes, oh, I have proof that I graduated from NYU. And then he posts this photo, screenshot, of course, not an actual email, of this. They got back to him, NYU.
Okay.
And believe it or not, they backed up everything he's been saying.
Oh, good. Okay.
Right.
It must be.
Do you have that, boys?
Good use of their time.
Yeah.
I thought we did.
It's
and
in
now I
Discord.
haven't-
Yeah,
It's literally right there. I'm looking at it. There, I got it.
Well, then you do it.
Oh, you got it.
I'm busy.
So here's the most fascinating thing that somebody picked up on in Dabblers is that the ending of the email, best. That's John's standard sign off when he writes something for somebody. All the best. That and the fact, Frog, you were saying something about.
Well, if I.
First of all, NYU would not put personal information in an email to somebody. Because remember, you guys tried it. Number one. Number two, the structure and wording is definitely John.
Noon. Should be a comma, right? Thank you for your inquiry, period. Okay. And then quickly zip down to the next actual paragraph. Please feel free, blah, blah, blah. Education verification. Why is there no period there? If you're doing a period there, you do a period there. Right?
Great point.
Yeah.
And it's funny how you use the word verification. He's very, very comfortable with that word lately.
Yeah.
Also, why did it take him 4 years
Thank you.
to get a 2-year degree? Because he went in there from a community college.
Right. Why did it take him 3 years to do this email?
Wait, seriously, was he at that college from 86 to 89?
According to the evidence he provided us.
Well, I guess that would be 3.
He's just trying to create diversion from Dabble and Dan and other truths. I can't wait till Susanna eventually tells the truth about this guy. And she will. And maybe Aaron will do it instead.
That would be 3 years because it starts September of
Okay.
86 to 87, and then
Okay.
88, 88, 89.
Right,
and
okay.
Graduated.
So that's an extra 2 semesters. He needed 2.
John keeps doing stuff to what he thinks help himself. Just makes it worse. Just doxes and stupidity.
extra semesters
Yeah.
to get all of his credits.
Which he
I'm going to forget things a lot, guys.
But also a weird thing that happened, I don't know if you saw that episode, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where he's talking about his NYU films, when he made those student
The ones
films.
he got an A on. Yeah.
Right, the ones he got an A on, the ones he's never shown on his show ever, even though he's one of those guys who, if he accomplished something, you would watch it every fucking day on his show. Yes. And he doesn't know where they are. I have no idea what happened to those videos. So it again, it's another thing. All his accomplishments are theory. I don't know what happened to him.
And somebody in the chat last night brought up a good point that they thought, I think it was Fudgesicle, that those movies might have been in some boxes that was still stored at Susanna's place. And then Aaron came in and was like, we're getting rid of this shit. Most likely threw it out.
Well, also, it's been brought up before. John has friends from elementary school, and he has friends from high school, and he's got friends from the Howard Stern show. He's got friends from... The one time he didn't have any friends and has any stories is college? How is that possible?
Right. Fascinating, right?
College and no friends in L.A.
Doesn't make any sense. He's at film school at NYU, and Adam Sandler's there, and all these fucking people, and he doesn't have any stories?
Not one story about experimenting and blowing a guy just because he was in college and it's what you do? Hey, Gabriel, thank you, buddy. 14 months. Much like John getting others to do his job for him on Stern and Leno, his bills are for someone else to take care of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what? Listen, worrying about money and paying bills, that cuts into drinking and hanging out and sharing everybody your life story that walks into the fucking room. How is the water supplied for free if he has a well?
It's just well water. It's just...
Well.
Well.
Alice's restaurant level investigation for sprinkler.
All day. Answered phones. He didn't have to be a grown-up for like 15 years. So it really did. It really stunted his work ethic. It stunted his maturity on his own decision in the world and not learn a goddamn thing when I leave this place. But he was like a stunt boy, so he didn't have to do anything.
Well, that's the other thing. You're surrounded by people who are working their ass off, and this guy is just kind of getting by goofing on the people working their ass off and doing stunt boy shit. Yeah. So you got that division, Fred versus John, they all got fucking reasons to...
He got positive reinforcement for being stupid and precocious, like doing dumb shit.
Justin, wells have electric pumps that are hooked up to his meter, hence why the water stopped when the power went out. Okay, got it. But no cops showed up. Don't forget, that story happened.
Yeah, he said there were footprints and cops. The next day he said, my sprinklers went off because the electricity cut off. So he's so stupid. And it's just a PVC pipe into the well with a pump and 3 wires underground to the house.
The day he had to come on after the Dabbling Dan revelation. So my opinion is...
Oh, he's a victim. That's right.
He's got to create something, look over here, everybody. Look over here, up here, little diversion over there.
Well, the way that he was talking about his phone call with the customer service rep at the power company, and we've seen this before where his internet was down and he called up
1-800-DABBLER did a John on the phone with the power company. It's hysterical. See if you can find it and listen to it. It's just great.
He was on his show yelling at the person, I got millions of people who need to see my podcast. You're fucking this up. Like, he big times these people. This poor person, the guy hasn't paid a bill at least since July. We know that for a fact. At least since July. It's got here. And he's yelling at the customer service person because they didn't tell him he was supposed to pay his back payment.
Yeah. How dare you? What? He goes, what?
Well, it's like he's so stupid. He thinks he paid the electric bill, so it's done. And he doesn't realize every month you get a bill, stupid.
What? What bill? Bill? What? It's his first day on Earth.
Such an asshole.
You want to give me a bill? Why do you hide it in an envelope?
I said it in the other recording. Bill? There's nobody here named Bill. Get out of here.
I've noticed that not a lot of boat talk this week from John. No talk about owning it, although he did mention he was taking the West Indian girl out on the boat, which to me sounds like the real owner of the boat invited John, and John invited a chick to come with him.
You know, he was going to say Barbados, but he said bar. He met some skank at the bar, and it's bullshit.
There's no way he owns that fucking boat.
Of course not. John finally admitted he's poor. Thank God it's finally happened. And as soon as he did it, he went, oh, shit. I mean, if you counted up all my assets, it might be $1 million. I don't know. But he caught himself in the middle of saying that Vince is loaded and he's got no money.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's about time, because it's like, you don't have to put up this fucking song and dance. Like, we get it. It's fine.
Again, I hate to bring up the gay
We all knew it all along.
thing, Carl. I know it's a sore subject.
I can tell you're very upset about it. Yeah,
but it's like when somebody you grow up with, you know that person's gay by the way they act, and then they finally come out and you go, hey guys, I wanted to let you guys know I'm gay. And you're like, yeah, we know you're fucking gay. It's okay. Same thing with him being broke. He's just, everything he does goes right to him being broke. And you're like, this guy's fucking, I'm not broke. I'm not. Guys, you know I'm broke, right? Yes.
Yeah. Well,
don't you feel better now that you've admitted that, John? We can all just move on. It's fine.
Oh my God, it feels so good.
There's a fun thing happening with him today too. I don't know if you saw it. We have yet to watch it on Rico, but I watched a little bit of it where he was kissing Chad's ass, and then Chad started sniping him, and he called into Chad and got on the phone with Chad, and then Chad hung up on him. And John was still trying to be like, it's just Chad goofing off. And he switches back to his show right at the exact moment where Chad's like, something about his daughter.
Chad blasted him right to his face. He really slammed him good.
And he's like, okay, all right. And what's funny about that is, you know, he's been mad at Kevin. He sees Chad. He did on his show the other day. He tracked everybody's numbers for the years, how much they're making. And then he got to us and he goes, we don't know if any of this is real. Right. Everybody was real until he got to us. But he's tracking and he goes, look at how great Chad's doing. He's sticking it to Kevin. It's fantastic. So he's trying to buddy up with Chad, right, to go after Kevin. Or at least to have a replacement KB, right? Somebody that he could.
Well, I have another theory. I have another theory about Chad.
Okay.
So I think the reason why John wants to be Chad's friend so badly is because for both of us, we'll go get some pints.
It's a great point.
That's all he wants is friendship.
I didn't even think of that. Well, that's out the window now because he's kissing Brennan's ass again today and shitting on Chad. So it's got to be one or the other. He can't be friendly to both of them. It's got to be one or the other.
I was going to say what Carl was saying makes a lot of sense, and also I think he would imagine that Chad can get him some gigs as well, have him, open for Chad or something or whatever. But another opportunity to make money.
Imagine that? Right.
And he doesn't wipe down any of the
pus
equipment.
And sweat. Oh,
yeah.
Just follow the alcohol vapors down through the cardio section. You'll find the guy.
Carl, you need to be more grateful that goofing on Stuttering John made your career. Did you forget how grateful Norm Macdonald was to O.J. Simpson?
It's a good point.
Yeah, that's another one. Not to keep circling back to this first episode, but the first thing he says to you is, don't you think you should thank me? You should thank me for the home you live in and this and that. Yeah. Right.
It's funny that John thinks that before WATP, I was just a homeless guy.
Right.
Yes. Artie said John would be pumping gas in Massapequa.
Yeah.
He did.
He would.
And he would, yes.
He will.
Carl, your thoughts on Joe?
We're in this real relationship now, and it's starting to. Those cracks are starting to show, and they're starting to bicker. We're going to get toward the Kramer versus Kramer part of that soon.
Well, yeah. I think Clay's starting to realize what's in it for me.
I hope so.
Clay likes being on the internet, and people are watching him, and he gets to talk and all this stuff. John couldn't care less what Clay is saying. He's really got to
strike two,
distance himself from that.
I mean,
someone just brought up a great point. I don't want to forget it. So John's got on his surveillance camera these people trespassing.
Yep.
And he hasn't shown that to us.
Nope.
I mean, he could film his screen. He doesn't have to like know the technology to download it. He could easily show us that, right?
Not only is he not showing it to us, but he claimed that he downloaded it and gave it to the authorities.
Right.
Now this guy can't start a StreamYard stream, which is for retards. Anyone can do it. You're telling me he downloaded footage from his camera and had a flash drive there and just fucking sent them on their way? The fuck out of here.
There's no way.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh!
Yeah, insanity. He claimed today he met the West Indian over the East Coast and just got home after saying he was taking her on the boat yesterday. Oh.
Well, interestingly enough, he said it was in Del Rey. He went to Delray Beach for her today, which we had heard a rumor about something else in Delray.
Correct.
So,
side note, hooked up TSN and WATP to my Irish friend living in Brazil. He had WATP on the TV screen of a Brazilian bar today. He's not sure how he did it.
Nice. Thank you, Carol. That's awesome.
Thanks, Carol.
Wow.
You got a whole bar of Brazilians going, just do it.
That's how Americans talk.
Thanks for all the laughs. Lyndon, thank you. 15 months. You guys
Hey,
are
Shirley.
awesome, man. Yeah.
So I tried something this week for PDP. You know how, like, when they play movies on TV, they have to edit out the curse words?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought we would see what it would be like if Stuttering John was edited for TV.
I like it already.
I was
That'll be
also
good.
really high when I did this, so it's followed by a whole string of fucks.
Okay. All right. Kind of defeats the bit, but all right.
Yeah, much better. It's getting father hot in here. Whenever I get out of the shower, I start sweating. It's just a normal father thing with me. Start sweating as soon as I get out of the father shower. Just the cops.
So far, this can be mainstream. I'll be honest with you. You could have this on in a waiting room like The View, you know? It's not going to piss anybody off.
Just left. Seen somebody showed up on my security camera on one of them and was trying to father with my trying to father my water. So I had to give them the footage, and we will locate the individual, and that'll be it. Getting fucking hot.
That's
Just
it?
a
We're gonna
normal
end
fucking thing. A fucking show. Just trying to fuck with my. Never fuck with anybody's fucking house. Pretend to fuck with was a fucking work. Doing that for fucking years. Back to fucking.
This reminds me, one of the topics I wanted to bring up is his Goodfellas phase that he's in. So John always goes through these phases depending on the movie. You know, he threw the F slur out because of Sean Penn in Fast Times. He gets attached to these movies.
Yeah, sometimes he's homophobic, and sometimes he's a gangster. It's crazy. Sometimes he can use the force for some reason. It's amazing.
But no matter what, it's annoying as all hell. This Goodfellas phase is just awful.
Blind Mike brought this up. This is not my.
Typical 12-year-old.
I thought this was brilliant, but he was talking about it on his show yesterday, where John's like, I was just watching Goodfellas, and he kept saying, instead of motherfucker, motherfather.
yes.
And he goes, is John watching this on basic cable?
Yep.
And that's why he's doing that? It's like, that must be the way they censor it, like snakes on a plane, the monkey fighting snakes, right?
Yeah, I mean, we saw in the email when he doxed himself that he just signed up for Netflix for the
for the fight.
For the fight that he watched the next day. And I don't know if you saw this part on his show the next day. He's watching the fight, like highlights of the fight off of YouTube. Mm-hmm. And at one point, Tyson started, he's like, come on, Mike, come on. He goes, I mean, I know he lost, but I'm so excited in the moment. And it's just like, this guy is such an idiot. It never stops. What do we got here? Oh, hold on, let me finish this. Sorry.
The one was fucking family. Fucking now I fucking got the fucking Vince fucking help. The fucking right. I got the fucking car to fucking stop. Fucking stick. They fucking whole fucking country is me every fucking day. Other fucking people have that fucking pinky. Another fucking idiot.
He's a college graduate, by the way.
He said I fucking need him. I fucking But you know, this fucking dabbler, he fucking invents his fucking head fucking comes. I started fucking lying, you dumb fuck. I knew it fucking in California. And fucking Kate Meany. I ever fucking do my whole fucking untarnished fucking your fucking mind ever fucking say no fucking integrity for fucking the 100th fucking idiot. I don't give a fuck if you give a fuck. What off my fucking wall he did.
That might be that might be my favorite one. I don't give a fuck if you give a fuck.
Over under 200. How many fucks appeared in that episode of the Stuttering John podcast?
The entire episode?
The entire episode.
It's over. I'm going to go 278.
Did you count every fuck?
Yes, every single one.
Because it's every sentence. It's multiple times per sentence.
Why are you paying this guy?
Good point, Mike.
He's around counting fucks.
Good point, Mike.
Yeah, good point. Are you still high?
Yeah, he is.
No, he's muted.
I'm going to...
We got the shitware and the fuck counter.
Oh, again? Why do you keep muting
No,
yourself?
I wasn't. Frog, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to somebody important. I'm sorry.
I'm going to go over as well.
It was 206.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Low to me.
Both winners.
I mean, 200 times using the word fuck in a
But he is.
2-hour show.
He's like a personality impersonator. Like if he goes to the English pub,
Yep.
blimey, fucking hell for fucking 2 months. Fucking hell. Then he's listening to Goodfellas. Fucking guy over
He's
here.
6 years old. This is what 6-year-olds do.
Yeah.
It was so apparent in the first episode with you guys where he was screaming and screaming, and then you go, John, you got to stop yelling so we can have a conversation. And then he did something. You go, John, shut the fuck up. And it was 30 seconds later. John goes, oh, are you screaming? He goes, are you mad?
You want a tissue?
And it was like 30 seconds went by, and
so
now you're an
frustrating.
asshole for screaming.
It's so frustrating. I want to bring up another discussion topic here. This one I thought was very funny. And again, props to Clay Dabbler for bringing this up. The Adam Bush jealousy. Did you guys see this clip?
Yes. I mean, play it for if you have it and you want to.
I don't. I'll explain it. I'll explain it
Go
though.
ahead.
Because, so Clay goes, hey, you know, John, you're no longer the only celebrity in the Dabbleverse. And John's like, well, what do you mean by that? He's like, Adam Bush has been on your show. He goes on Carl's show, Shuli's show. You know that he was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I goes, what, like a cameo or something? He goes, no, he had a recurring role. And he's on all the time, and it's crazy. Like, he's a huge celebrity, and he's here in the Dabbleverse. And John's like, okay, go to New York City and ask people if they know who Adam Bush is. And then Clay's immediately like, no, I know. You're way more famous, but I'm just saying. But what I didn't realize, I was messaging Adam about this when I saw it. I didn't realize that I guess Buffy is huge in the UK. He said in the UK, Buffy is like Friends.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
A very
Why is
popular
he
sitcom.
here? Why the
Right,
fuck
yeah.
is he here?
She's getting his dick sucked by Cockney
Yeah,
accents.
Some
I
clues.
know. Some clues, yeah.
I'm Spike. I'm Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hello.
But it showed, though, John's childishness, again, as it always does.
Yes.
Because as soon as you're just like, oh, this other guy also has TV credits and has been in movies and stuff like that, John's immediately has to discredit it and then explain that he's more famous or whatever it is. It was a very funny back and forth between John and Clay.
There was another funny back and forth between John and Clay when Clay made a joke. He just goes, yeah, well, you're difficult to deal with. And John jokes back and he goes, what are you talking about? And 2 seconds later, he's like, no, for real. You think I'm difficult? What about you? And then John
He goes, give me one example. And Clay's like, the falling out we had. You accused me of doing shit I didn't do.
Well, and then John throws Clay under the bus immediately, and he's like, how about the DMs you send me where you're like, how come you didn't write back to me and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, these two are perfect for each other.
Yep.
Perfect for each other. Two of the neediest human beings on earth.
You just reminded me of something else that my buddy Vinny Paulino was texting me the other day. So Vinny was checking in on John's show, and John was crying about Vince the lawyer forcing him to pay the settlement they agreed to. And John's exact words were, why do I have to learn a lesson? and Vinny reminded me that when we were doing Point Dabble Point, and John was texting Vinny, and Vinny didn't return the text. There was like 8 texts in a row, and Vinny didn't get back to him. They had a meeting the next day to talk about a show at Comedy at the Carlson that John didn't show up for. Vinny drove into work to the office to be in this meeting with Cardiff and John. And John goes, well, I needed to teach you a lesson. And Vinny's like, why do I have to learn a fucking lesson? This guy doesn't have to learn lessons. What's that all about?
What? Oh, at one point you said in the first episode, you go, these are the rules. And John goes, no, those are your rules. Yes. I have my rules. And that is who John is.
Correct.
It's always different.
Who wouldn't want to live with their mom? It's great. Cookies and milk, coffee with cream in it. Oh,
Laundry's done. Laundry's done, folded, put away.
Yeah. And, here's the thing about if he did that and he's finally hanging out with those friends that he's had all these years, within a year or two, they would abandon him because they've never had to spend that amount of time with adult John.
Right. Absolutely.
So especially when he freezes in for a month and he's, hey, let's go out for a few beers.
A year or two, 4 to 6 months, that's enough.
Don't want to get drunk on a Monday night. They're going to be like, well, no, I have work in the morning and responsibilities and a family.
Yeah. I have to wear a suit in the morning.
Right.
Can't,
I gotta wear a suit.
Yeah, it's like I'm grown up. I remember being with a friend at a bar in New York, and he's like, some guy bumped into him, and he looks at me and goes, you ready to go? And I'm like, home? Yeah, I gotta go to work in the morning. I'm like, you think I'm gonna fight with you over? I don't give a shit.
Bumping you?
Yeah. They say
that was the bagel boss, by the way. Who did that.
Was.
And Shuey's like, I want nothing to do with this guy.
My friend stepped on him. My friend stepped on him by accident, and then he wanted to fight. I go, get me away from this maniac. They say alligators can grow up to 15 feet, but I've never seen one with more than 4. Heyo.
Come on.
Oh, another thing I wanted to bring up.
Sorry, that was crazy.
The Dookies. John's award show.
How crazy is that? The first thought he has is, I know Lady K would do this much more professionally. He would have been prepared, but he's not talented though. I'm talented. It's like, I am so living in that guy's head. I mean, you are too, Shuey. He brings this up all the time. He's like, I know Carl's going to say this. When he had the stop sign, he pulled out. He's like, no, I know Carl's going to say I should have gone to a professional print shop and gotten these printed. I'm like, that's not what my thought was at all.
We're living in his head in different ways. Like he looks at you like he wants your approval. He wants to be friends with you. He wants your approval. He wants you on his.
Right.
In the weirdest time too. Not while he was talking.
Right.
Not while Aaron was being pushed out. Like he got done talking, and then it tripped out. He's 6, and then he tried to lean into it. Like, see, look, I'm doing this on purpose.
Yeah, that was my theory.
I think what happened was Gary put a gypsy curse on him while he was working at the Stern show. I think he grazed his face and went wetter, and just whatever jokes he makes about Gary.
Remember Thinner? That's good ones then.
Being weird with his mouth and having mouth problems, he's got
and unless there's any other topics you want to throw out, Carl, are you good? Anything else you wanted to tackle before we get out of here?
That was the main stuff I had on my list. Yeah, we didn't really talk too much about Rob Sala. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
That's fine. Well, I'm sure by next week there'll be a lot more to talk about, but probably not.
Right.
With Rob Sala, he's no John. Didn't we all agree that any Vince the Lawyer appearances would have his face? We did, but this was in the heat of the moment.